Hi, I'm Abby Levine, soul restoration coach, intuitive priestess healer, and angel communicator. And today we're going to talk about the science of reconnecting you with your soul identity, but more importantly, changing the behaviors that you are looking to change day to day. What's really interesting is that a lot of people don't actually understand how their brain works. And so when they're trying to make behavioral changes, a lot of times they're just trying to force it with willpower. Now that is absolutely an effective method for about 3 weeks, because that is about the amount of willpower that the brain will allow you to have. Now, that's an under-exaggeration. 3 weeks is probably about the minimum. You can actually go 3 months, 6 months, sometimes even a couple of years with a new behavior before your brain will say, okay, that's enough now. We're going to go back to how we used to do things, when you're just trying to sheer force of will the change to happen in your life. So let's talk about how that happens, okay? So your brain has a bunch of these cells. You've probably heard of them before. They're called neurons. And these cells are how information travels in your brain. So you have a neural pathway. And that's how information, when I say information, I mean energy. That's a thought, it is an emotion, it is a behavior. Everything that happens in your body happens through your brain first, and all the energy, all the electrical pulses travel through these neural pathways, okay? Something that a lot of people don't know is whenever you learn something new, a new neural pathway is created in your brain. It used to be that 5 or 6 years ago, before that, scientists thought that once we lost a neuron, it was gone forever. You probably heard your mom, your dad say, don't hit your head. You're gonna knock out your brain cells, right? That was an issue because we didn't think that brain cells regenerated. Now we know that they do, so it's not such a big deal. When we have a behavior, let's say that a behavior is related to, let's say money, right? Money is topical. Everybody wants money. Everybody needs money to live. Let's say that your behavior is, let's say it's a thought, a limiting belief. There's not enough money, okay? So maybe that limiting belief was given to you as a child, maybe directly. So you heard your parents say constantly, there's not enough, we can't afford that, things like that. Or indirectly. Maybe they just said no a lot of times, or you noticed them being frugal. So you created a neural pathway here with a ton of offsetting neural pathways. This becomes a neural network. Okay, so this neural network is there's not enough. Then you go see someone who is a specialist in retraining your brain, and they give you a new neural pathway, and this new neural pathway says there is plenty to go around. There is tons of abundance. Abundance is everywhere. Now, the challenge with the difference between the neural network and this neural pathway is that the difference between it is like the neural network is like a 12-lane highway in your brain, and this little neural pathway is the equivalent of a grass field where one person has walked through and broken down some of the stalks. So when energy, electricity, thought, right, comes to this junction, it can choose which way to go. It can take the neural network, or it can take this new neural pathway. Here's a little tip. Electricity always takes the path of least resistance. So if you just let it do its thing, it's going to take the neural network, there's not enough, every single time. But right here, there are tools, there are processes, there are all types of things that you can interrupt this energy flow, and you can send it where you choose for it to go, which is down this path of abundance. There's plenty to go around. Every time you use this neural pathway, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Every time you stop using this neural pathway, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until one day it disappears completely, and this is the only way that you function. And everything in your behavior is geared towards abundance, which means that you have a ton of abundance in your life. So this is the difference between changing your behaviors and trying to incorporate a new behavior. When you have this information, you can physically, consciously choose to send the electricity down a different neural pathway. It's very hard to create this neural pathway and turn it into a neural network. It can take about 9 to 12 months of consistent activity. And who could do that for 9 to 12 months consistently? That's why it's so hard to make a behavior change, right? So when you use techniques, learn NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, things like that, you can half, you can quarter, you can divide the effort that you have to put in to create this new neural network by 10, right? So you can shorten the length of time. It's much more effective, it's much more efficient, and it's a lot less painless than trying to force it with willpower for that entire time. So if you're looking to make a change, you want more abundance in your life, you're feeling like a fraud, you're feeling like you kind of want to figure out who you are, what your purpose is, what you're meant to be doing with your life, because if it's not now, when will it be? Just hop on a call with me. Let's have a heart-to-heart. I'd love to give you a map of how to get there. Have a great day.